With Rogue Squadron on the way, Star Wars fans can begin to get excited about the latest installment in the series. As the director of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984, Patty Jenkins will travel to a galaxy far, far away to helm the Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Disney unveiled a ton of new Star Wars projects on December 10th, including theatrical films and new Disney Plus shows. One of the biggest announcements was the upcoming film Rogue Squadron, which is about X-Wing fighter pilots. Famously known as the Rogue Squadron, this group of starfighters served under Luke Skywalker in the Rebel Alliance and took its name from Jyn Erso's crew, who, in the 2016 film Rogue One, stole the Death Star blueprints. Jenkins revealed that she's a fighter pilot's daughter who has long wanted to do a fighter pilot movie, but until now, she hadn't been able to find the right story. While the mystery surrounding the spaceship-centered film largely remains unsolved, the movie's timeline is actually revealed in the logo. The original trilogy is the era most closely associated with the use of the name Rogue Squadron, thanks to a video game of the same name from 1998. It should be a fascinating revelation to learn that the title is being used in the New Republic sequel trilogy era. The Rogue Squadron was most active as a Rebel Alliance division during the Galactic Civil War, and continued to exist after Endor was destroyed, but it was no longer used and eventually dissolved. Rogue Squadron has also appeared in a variety of other non-cinematic Star Wars works, such as books and a well-known video game series. Rogue Squadron, according to Patty Jenkins, is inspired by various books and video games, but will not directly adopt any of them. Fans of Star Wars will enjoy Rogue Squadron a lot because it pays homage to the franchise's past. Many millennials immediately associate the term Rogue Squadron with a well-known video game, which also made a symbolic comeback in 2020 with Star Wars Squadrons. You can bet that every generation of Star Wars fans will be united when Jenkins' movie finally comes out. Following Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue Squadron was planned to be the first Star Wars film to be directed by Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins. After news that Rogue Squadron had been put on hold surfaced in 2021, the production's future became uncertain. However, the movie is clearly still in production, as evidenced by Disney's calendar for its upcoming events. Right now, Jenkins' Star Wars film still has an official release date of December 22, 2023, according to Disney and Lucasfilm. For the time being, it appears that Disney is either still aiming to release Rogue Squadron in theaters next year, or that the production company is still unsure of the new location. Rogue Squadron was always the one that was most likely to begin filming, despite the fact that other projects like those from Taika Waititi or Kevin Feige were also in development. It appears that Rogue Squadron will actually be the first post-Skywalker saga movie to hit theaters, opposite to what many people believed, and that Star Wars' future is still promising. Jenkins has stated that this will be an original story with new characters, despite the fact that the title or team is most prevalent in Star Wars canon during the time of the first trilogy. Depending on the time period, a number of characters from other movies, television shows, and even Star Wars legends could play significant roles. Some of these Rebel Alliance starfighters have a long history together, while others are fan favorites that viewers want to see in real life. Wedge Antilles is by far the most important member of Rogue Squadron, rivaled by Luke Skywalker. He played a significant role in the original trilogy, so he's very likely to appear in this film. However, because this film is supposed to focus on new characters, Wedge could be ditched for a cameo. Although the Skywalker saga was supposed to end with Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, Luke has remained a central figure in the evolving Star Wars canon. He is one of the creators and leaders of Rogue Squadron, and as such, he is very likely to appear. Admiral Ackbar, perhaps the most memed character from the original trilogy, would be a wonderful sight in Rogue Squadron. Bringing back Admiral Ackbar would give a great excuse for you to smash that like button if you haven't done it already. Similarly, adding a video game character like Iden or someone from Squadrons would be a fantastic way to interact with and market different Star Wars platforms. Multiple Legends characters, including Koran Horn, another member of Rogue Squadron, could be merged into the canon. He might be a fantastic choice for a new Star Wars character that unites fans of all eras. Admiral Natasi Dalla would be an odd choice if a woman were to play a major villain in a live-action Star Wars film. She's not a one-dimensional character due to her training and ascent to power, so it would reveal another side of the Empire. Think again if you assumed Star Wars Rogue Squadron would simply be a video game and book adaptation. Not to worry though. Jenkins provided a new Rogue Squadron update stating that everything is going amazing. She said that we're doing something original with great influence from the games and the books. There's a lot of things being acknowledged and understood about the greatness of all of those things, but yes, it's an original story and I'm so psyched to do it. She quoted saying that the film will honor the books and games that came before, but also that it must be brought to a new age because we have to tell a new story with it. The desire for a movie series set in the era of the Old Republic and lack thereof for a story like Rogue Squadron is the main reason a movie series set in the era of the Old Republic will secure Star Wars' theatrical future. Although the latter was undoubtedly eagerly awaited by many, it was regarded as a surprise announcement because Star Wars fans normally didn't expect it. The demand for a film about fighter pilots and their ships has never been great, and despite the talent involved behind the camera, it was met with cautious optimism rather than overwhelming excitement. However, before Disney acquired Lucasfilm, a Star Wars movie series set in the Old Republic has been one of the most requested Star Wars projects by fans. At some point, there will surely be a Star Wars Episode 10, but right now, making that film shouldn't be too concerning. The franchise can still continue after the events of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. It gives Lucasfilm the chance to finally stray from George Lucas's original vision and a cast of characters by introducing viewers to fresh faces and stories that have nothing to do with the original trilogy or its prequels. By doing this, future Star Wars films would be immediately free from discussions about canon changes and retcons. After revealing the importance of the secret mission Rogue Squadron is working on during the game's events, it's likely that the Rogue Squadron will do something else. It might even be connected to Project Starhawk, a New Republic superweapon introduced in Star Wars Squadrons that haven't been thoroughly explored in any other Star Wars works of fiction. If that's the case, there is a good chance the film, which stars Hera Syndulla and Wedge Antilles, is closely related to the events of Star Wars Squadrons. Despite the fact that the story is set in a brand new future era, Star Wars movies have repeatedly shown that they aren't afraid to reference earlier works or occasions. What if the Starhawk superweapon of the New Republic, which is currently attempting to rebuild and reassert its dominance, needs to be protected? There are many ways that Star Wars Rogue Squadron and Squadrons can be directly related. With that in mind, you need to smash that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll never miss any of our videos in the future. The Star Wars franchise promises to continue after the Skywalker saga with Rogue Squadron. However, because Rogue Squadron is based on the first 3 films in the Star Wars saga, it's inevitable that some scenes will have a familiar Star Wars vibe, if not outright fan service. See you in the next video.